and welcome. Welcome to the Arts Council of Surrey Community Gallery here at the Newton Cultural Centre. My name is Wendy Mould, and I'm here today to introduce you to the winners of the Paint the Train Juried Art Show. The show is presented by the Surrey Arts Council in partnership with the Langley Arts Council and the Fraser Valley Heritage Railway. The show can be seen here in the gallery until November 29th and online at the artscouncilofsurrey.ca. In this fourth version of the Paint the Train Juried Art Show, the artists were asked to give their impression, artistic impression that is, of the impact of the railway on this region since 1886. Now, looking at the work, it kind of reminds me of the fact that the railway didn't always exist. It's hard to imagine today that we did not have the railway. Well, let's go meet the winners and see their pictures. Well, hi Jenny. It's really nice to see you again. You've been a winner again at one of our juried shows, and congratulations on first prize for this picture, Looking Back. Can you tell us a little bit about it? What inspired you?
Hi Wendy, nice to be here again. Thank you for inviting me for the interview. I'd like to talk a little bit about this picture. First, I'll tell so what's the inspiration for this piece? The title is Looking Back.
Right.
So as you can see, I set up I use my daughter as a model. I set up her as the center of the picture. The inspiration is so since I think 1950, the Canadian National Railway set up. So I like her to looking back as the title. So she's standing on the Sarah N. card, looking back. This is from the perspective of the present and looking back the history. So I'm trying to paint the connection between the present to the past and the future, remind unknown. So that's the inspiration for me to paint this picture.
Well, you've certainly succeeded. It does definitely give that impression. And an interesting composition as well, with your focal point right in the center. That is unusual.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
As an artist, when you have the inspiration, the idea to paint a certain picture, the next step, you always think about the composition. How can you set up? How can you put your idea and everything together, the color, the shapes and the forms? So, as an artist, we are trying to avoid to paint the characters a focus point right in the center. But I paint this as I set her as the bridge, bridging the present and the past. So that's the purpose. Another thing is you can see I set her as the center. Two vanishing point as the left and the right. So I use the perspective to connect the theme of this picture.
Very effective, very effective.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed hearing the story of your picture. And again, I'd like to congratulate you. And I'm sure we'll see you again in some of our shows.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate for ACS. I set up this art competition for other people to restoring our society and reach history. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Well, hello, Lynn. Nice to see you again. We were here in the summer, right, for your show with Carla. And now the two of you have put together a winning piece for our Paint the Train juried show. Girl on the Train.
Girl on the Train.
Yeah. Well, can you tell us about your pictures?
What I would like to tell you is that Carla and I, after our exhibition here in the summer, where we collaborated between textiles and photography, we decided to carry on along that theme and collaborate more. And we knew that this this competition was coming up. I know John Sprung, and I have actually been out on the train before, and I have several photographs from that very first train trip I took, where we were able to bring in a model and photograph the model. She wasn't professional, she was a young girl. We were really happy that we had her. And we actually got more photographs of her than the train at the time, and I think John was quite upset. But so I wanted to use her again, and Carla wanted to do some stitchery to tie in with the photograph. And so Carla went with the idea of doing stitchery that gave the appearance of a passenger seat in a train. And actually, she has asked me to tell you, because she's not able to be here today, but she has asked me to tell you that some of the fabric that she has used is actual moquette, which is what they use in covering passenger seats in trains and buses, etc., etc. So we wanted to stay real to the theme.
Oh wow, so this is like an adventure, just to even make this picture.
It was an adventure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now you were telling me something about the tickets as well, too.
Well, the tickets also, when we had done the two pieces, and I had done several photographs this size to see which one suited best. At first I thought a black and white one was going to be perfect, but black and white just didn't work as well. Full color didn't work as well, so in the end I came up with the fact that I would just show the red of her coat and her hat and her lips, most importantly, and
right.
Then that would kind of pick up the reds in Carla's
and you're right,
piece.
it's very striking. I think that's one of the really striking things about that photograph, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't, these things don't just happen. I think, as we had been discussing earlier, you really have to go into a lot of thought about what is going to work best.
Right.
So then we decided that we needed some kind of filler to kind of carry on with our theme that the girl is a passenger on a train. And so we thought, first of all, we thought of ticket stubs. Ticket stubs weren't big enough and we couldn't find ticket stubs, so we thought of luggage tags, as we've done here. I have to give a nod and a call out to the Burnaby Heritage Society, who provided me with images of luggage tags and gave me permission to use them in this photograph. So thank you, Burnaby.
And definitely they are a nice touch.
Well, they are. And I mean, I've colored them. They weren't necessarily in color. I think one or two were in black and white. So I've colored them, and I've actually photographed them on photographic paper, and then have pasted them to real luggage tags.
Yes.
Because we really love the
yes.
strings.
Yes, you have to have the strings.
That was part of it. And so I think that's probably all I can tell you about it, other than, and then of course Carla picked up the little pocket with the ticket in the pocket, which I think just finishes it off.
Oh, it does, it does. Yes, it really reminds us that these multimedia pieces are really an adventure. It's not something you just sit down and do in a few minutes.
They grow as you know, like, and because we're neighbors, we're able to pop over and call each other and say, hey, I just thought of this, or I just thought of that. And it's wonderful to be running back and forward.
Oh yes, to have that feedback with another artist.
Yeah.
Well, again, I want to thank you, you and Carla, for this lovely piece of work, and I look forward to seeing you again in one of our jury shows.
Well, I do have to kind of add a little note here, just before we finish, in that there have been a couple of omens with this picture, because before we found out that we had gotten first prize, a few days before, we had an urgent call from Maxine at the gallery here to say, oops, your picture has fallen off the wall.
Oh dear.
And Maxine asked she said, I think it's not too serious, I think I can fix it. Do I have your permission to fix it? And she did fix it, and it went back on the wall. and it survived until the night after
Oh,
we were awarded the prize, and then Corrie phoned us the next day and said it fell off the wall again and it set off all the alarms. So this picture was certainly trying to tell us something all the way along. Anyway, now it's fixed permanently. We took it home, we got one of the husbands to repair it, so it's done, it's okay.
oh, wow.
Touch wood.
That's right. Well, it just goes to show every story has a picture.
That's right.
Every picture has a story.
Well, maybe.
Yeah. Well, thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks for the time.
Hi, Helmut. Nice to see you again. A winner in the photography section of one of our jury shows.
Hello everyone. First I'd like to thank the Arts Council of Surrey, the Fraser Valley's Heritage Rail Society, the Arts Council of Langley, and of course our great judges who gave me the honor to award me the first place in the photography category of Paint the Train. And also last but not least is all the entries that were so fabulous artwork submitted to this competition. And I think it's a great event every year.
So tell us, how did your picture arriving at Sullivan Station come about?
Well, I have done a lot of planning on this piece. As you see, the Sullivan Station right now is surrounded by a fence, which I had to remove. But
yes.
the plan eventually is for the Railway Society is to restore the station and make it as an active station again. But in the end here, I did some modifications, took some unnecessary pieces out and added a little bit of a paint touch to it. And there's a lot of planning, a lot of post-processing, and then finally I had it printed on bamboo paper with a very elegant frame to finish it all off.
Yes, it did turn out very nice. It does, each of these pictures, photographs, it's not just a matter of taking the photograph, is it?
It's the planning. I mean, the weather conditions was very important because we wanted some clouds in the sky. And again, the time of the day is also very crucial. I think the planning is basically the start to a great result.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very interesting. And sure, I can see that you spent a lot of time on the computer just removing that fence.
Well, thank you. You as an artist will know.
Yes, I mean, if I was painting or drawing the picture, I wouldn't have to worry about the fence. But certainly when you're doing photo editing, that is a big job to eliminate something like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Helmut, for telling us about your picture, and certainly I look forward to seeing you again in some of our juried shows and meeting the winners again.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Wow, it's really nice to meet you tonight, Sam. I'm looking forward to hearing about your winning picture, Canadian Pacific. And so can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do this picture?
When I started thinking about it, what inspired me was I just finished learning the unit of history of railway in school. And the deepest thing that I remember was the first railway of Canada, the Canadian Pacific. So I wanted to make a drawing on it because it is a first railway to go across Canada and is worth us to remember, and it is also a very beautiful railway. And yeah.
Oh, neat. Oh, well, could you tell us a little bit about what you like to do? Is drawing the thing that you like with your art, or what is it you prefer to do?
What I prefer to do in art is like drawing sketches and with needle pens and like animals. I sometimes do some car sketches and industrial designs, and I also do some painting sometimes.
And what draws you to art? Why do you enjoy doing your art?
What draws me into art was when I was little. My dad first introduced me into art because he was an architect, and I found interest in art because it was fun and attracting to me. So my dad started bring me out to outside, and we usually draw the views and buildings we see. And I started first drawing and learning myself on that.
Mm.
And art also attracts me because it's to me it's like relaxing because I find it very fun and I can focus on it, drawing the lines and use it to show what I think and what I like.
Interesting, interesting. I like to draw myself, so I certainly understand what you're talking about, and those are the kind of things I like to draw too.
Mhm.
Well, it was really nice to meet you, Sam, and I look forward to, and I enjoyed your art, and I'm looking forward to seeing maybe some new entries in some of the other juried shows that are happening in the gallery. So I hope you'll consider that.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.